Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey, hour 3 already coming, chugging right along here. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program, your home for common sense conservatism. Yes, I am heartbroken. Our beloved Twizzlers, I had no idea, are made by Hershey's. I've got some decisions to make, ladies and gentlemen, as do you as consumers. I'm excited for this interview. Back by popular demand, scores of screaming fans demanding Marc Rudov. He's the corporate branding expert to the stars. He's joining us again. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hello, Wendy. Let's go, Brandon.
There you go. That a guy. So, you know what? It's amazing to me, Marc, how you and I talk quite a bit. But it seems like every single day when we share headlines with each other, there's another company, another CEO who's stepping in the proverbial pile by trying to get political or doing stupid things with the company brand. I just don't get how they don't get it.
Well, today's CEO is no longer a chief executive officer. He's now a chief ESG officer. And as I told your audience last time I was on your show, you have to understand what's going on here. You think that companies are making independent decisions. They're not. They have fealty to the World Economic Forum in Geneva, Switzerland, and especially Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, which is the largest money manager in the world, managing about $9 trillion, and Larry is on the board of the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
And so you were just talking about Hershey. You know, BlackRock owns 9.2% of Hershey. And so there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and that's what's driving these idiot CEOs. They're like a bunch of gold diggers now, spineless gold diggers, and Larry Fink is the sugar daddy.
Right.
And he tells them, if you don't march to the ESG tune, you don't get corporate loans, you can't trade your stock. And that's really what you're seeing here.
I'm interested in asking you. I'm interested in asking you about what happened with Facebook yesterday. Just 230 billion, 240 billion, whatever it is. Just remarkable. What's your take on the dramatic 26% valuation drop?
Yeah, that's as I've said before. You go woke, you go broke, and it was the largest drop in corporate valuation in stock market history. And it's interesting. In Hebrew, the word meta means dead. And that's what's happening to Facebook. Users are leaving in droves because they're tired of the censorship. They're tired of the Bigfoot. And this is what's going to happen to companies everywhere. It may not happen right away, but it's going to happen. People are sick of it. You see the truck convoy in Canada, and there's one forming in the United States. People are standing up and they're saying enough is enough. And Facebook is proof that if you stand up enough, you can drive this company into the red. And that's what we all need to do.
You know, I've marveled at since the beginning of the Black Lives Matter thing after George Floyd, how many businesses fell over themselves. Google gave them $12 million. Facebook and Amazon, $10 million each. Apple, $100 million. Walmart, $100 million over time. Target, $10 million. What do these companies think they're getting with their money? Are they buying, leave us alone and don't vandalize our buildings? Or are they doing exactly that ESG that you were talking about?
Yes, it's the ESG. They're going for woke points. And there are organizations like Charity Navigator, which are supposed to tell you whether a given charity is a viable organization so that if you put your money there, it's going to be safe. It's going to do good things, and things that you want it to do. Nobody checked BLM out at all. And now we know that nobody's in charge of the money. And people like one of the founders, Patrice Cullors, made off like a bandit and spent money on her own homes. And these CEOs who take money, shareholder money, and put it into an organization like BLM have a fiduciary responsibility to those shareholders, and they're not exercising that fiduciary responsibility, and they should be fired. But when it comes to anything with the word black in it, they think they're safe. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a period of time when you couldn't buy anything on Amazon.com without seeing the BLM banner. There are churches near where I live that still have BLM signs up. And BLM hates Christianity, hates Judaism, hates America, hates capitalism, hates the family. Yet these people are falling all over themselves to out-woke each other. It's really quite pathetic. So what are they getting in exchange for it? They're getting nothing. In fact, not only are they getting nothing, but they're destroying their companies.
I agree.
And when it comes to branding, I mean, the brand is the emotional connection that a company has with its customers. And when the customers are starting to get angry, then the emotion is negative. And the CEOs don't care because, as I say, now they're into what's called stakeholder capitalism, not shareholder capitalism. Uh-huh. And a stakeholder can be anybody who has any opinion about a business, like Black Lives Matter.
I want you to tell me about what's going on with the Super Bowl and the advertising around it. I think the NFL, I think professional sports in general, the NHL to a lesser degree, but the NBA, the NFL, they've blown it big time. Talk to me about the Super Bowl, your thoughts.
Well, first of all, China owns Nike, and Nike owns the NFL and the NBA. So, again, it's tied back to China and communism and the World Economic Forum. You and I were on 2 years ago talking about Super Bowl commercials and what a waste of money they are because they don't do anything. But if you look at the halftime show this year, it's going to be all rappers. Everybody black except Eminem, who is a quasi-black guy because he does nothing but rap. But you have like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, who've made videos saying F the police. Now, it's hard to believe that the premier entertainment event of the year, the Super Bowl, is going to have performers who hate America, who hate the police, but that's what's happening this year. Now, Pepsi sponsors the Super Bowl halftime show, and it's estimated that Pepsi is spending between $25 and $50 million to sponsor that show. And a commercial this year is going for $6.5 million for 30 seconds.
What?
Now, Pepsi's not spending that for the halftime show. That would cost $150 million. So, but the point is, this entertainment show, and let's face it, blacks are 13% of America. So 87% of the audience is white, and they're going to see a halftime show that says, F you, whitey. And that's what's happening in the Super Bowl.
Is it me, or does it seem like the one company that seems to always strike the nerve and get it right? Who am I going to say? I'm going to see if you know.
Who get what right?
Who gets the advertising right? Who has a message that reaches everybody? Who would that be, do you think?
Are you talking about the Super Bowl or in general?
Yes, Super Bowl. Anheuser-Busch. They seem like they always get it right. Is it me, or do they seem to tap into the nuance of America? That we're not worried about the division is the old story. Everybody wants the thing that makes them feel good, and yet you don't get that a lot.
But Wendy, we talked about this 2 years ago. It doesn't matter how sentimental your commercial is in the Super Bowl. It's all wasted money.
Of course, but I'm not saying that it's not wasted. I'm saying that as a consumer of the advertising, I don't want to be browbeaten by Gillette that tells me that if my sons shave with their razors, they need to say that They're oppressors.
Toxic masculinity.
Thank you very much. Right.
Well, we don't know what Anheuser-Busch is going to do this year. We haven't seen it yet. Or I haven't seen it.
I think Brock saw it.
I don't know.
Yeah, Brock saw it. What is it?
I saw it, and they're talking about the horse and the dog in the commercial, and they're coming together. Basically, it's very pro-America.
Right.
So that's something that they've done in the past.
Right. Pro-America. Don't you think that sells?
It doesn't sell.
Really?
Commercials on the Super Bowl don't sell anything. No. If once a commercial crosses the line into entertainment, and you think, oh, I love this commercial, it doesn't do its job, which is to sell the product. And you remember the old Coca-Cola commercial with Mean Joe Green.
Sure.
From the 80s. Everybody loved it. It didn't sell one carton of Coke, and Sergio Zyman, the VP of marketing at Coke, yanked the commercial because it didn't do its job, which is to sell the product. So you might love it, you tell your friends how much you love it, you might cry, you might laugh, but if you're voting for it as your favorite commercial, it's not a commercial. It's entertainment, and it's a waste of corporate cash.
Huh. All right. Well,
SoFi Stadium, naming rights, $625 million over 20 years. That's $31.25 million per year. Complete waste of money.
I can see that.
Doesn't sell SoFi.
I get you. No, you're right.
Just a waste of money.
You're right. I can see that, but I'm interested in the connection with the consumer. I am interested because we've just been browbeaten by hate, by racism, by everybody sucks. And I'm interested if you think that there is a company out there that's not peddling that. I want you to hang tight with me for a second, Mark. I want to hit this commercial break, and then I'm going to come back to you in just a minute. You know, a lot of companies are risking a lot by who they get behind, the messages they support. We'll talk more about that with Marc Rudov right after this. All right, I want to get back out to branding expert Marc Rudov. Marc, do you think that because of how politicized we are these last 2 years, do you think that people's purchasing decisions is moving the needle with some of these companies? Are they beginning to see the light, or are we just wrong in thinking that our money matters?
Well, of course. You remember a couple of years ago when the CEO of Goya Foods,
right,
Robert Onanu, stood up for Donald Trump, and he got trashed by AOC, and she tried to boycott his company. But here's a CEO who has a spine, and he told the woke mob to hit the road, and his sales went up. And we just talked about Facebook, and it's going down because people are tired of it. So if you actually stand up to the woke mob, you will benefit, you will profit. And, before I forget, I want to talk about Spotify and what happened with Neil Young. Do you think Neil Young just came out of the blue to protest Spotify? No. Neil Young last year sold half of his music catalog to a fund called Hypnosis, HIPGNOSIS. And guess what? There's a company, not BlackRock, but Blackstone, a competitor to BlackRock, is an investor in Hypnosis. And Jeffrey Kindler, who was the CEO of Pfizer, is now a senior advisor to Blackstone. So this wasn't a coincidence that Neil Young just came out of the woodwork. And by the way, get back to BlackRock. I know they're confusing Blackstone and BlackRock. BlackRock, Larry Fink. BlackRock owns 7.3% of Pfizer. So it's all connected. And so what's going to happen is Spotify is going to eat itself by acceding to these demands and not sticking up for Joe Rogan. And of course, now the Obamas are saying, well, we're going to take our podcast off of Spotify too. So it's spiraling out of control. And this guy, Eck, who's the CEO and founder of Spotify over there in Stockholm, Switzerland, he should just tell everybody to drop dead. And he's going to stick with Joe Rogan. And this buckling to the wokeism is not going to work out for these companies.
I'm amazed by this. I'm amazed that they don't understand. I'm amazed that nobody seems to have a They don't have a backbone. They don't have a spine. They don't have anything. They don't stand by their convictions because I guess they're convicted by nothing. And I'm interested in this.
They're total mercenaries. All they care about is money. It's short-term thinking.
There you go.
It's pecunia over principle. And pecunia is the Latin word for money. I like alliteration. It's pecunia over principle. And that's why you see so many people doing business with communist China because, well, that's business. That's business. But they're going to get screwed in the end.
Right. I'm interested in, and I want to have this with you here about Susan Sarandon. I'm sure you saw her reporting or saying on a tweet that she was looking at a picture of the very, 6,000 police officers attending a New York police officer's funeral. And she said, this is what fascism looks like. I don't see the payoff for Susan Sarandon, who's obviously not doing anything of any worth right now, movie-wise, that I know of, to insert herself in such a way that is so offensive to so many people. Don't they know it's suicide, or is it not?
Well, this is what stupidity looks like. And she's desperate to come back into the limelight. And Barbara Streisand did the same thing. She's going to take her music off of Spotify because she's so irrelevant now. They get tired of sitting home being irrelevant, so they think that the way that they can become relevant again is to say stupid things like this because they're so insulated. They think the whole world is woke, like their little gated community. They don't realize that most of America is not woke and is tired of this. And 52% of America is now leaning Republican. So they have no clue what's going on, no self-awareness, no sense of irony. They're just really stupid people. These actresses and actors have never been accused of being highly intelligent people.
You're right. You're absolutely right. All right, I got 30 seconds left. Tell everybody how they can find you, because it's always fun talking to you, Marc.
You can find me at markrudov.com. That's marcrudov.com. And if you go to markrudov.com/Marxism, you can see my slide called Panoramic Marxism, and you can see how this entire country and all of the institutions are infected with Marxism. And the only way to stop that is to fight back. Ugh. And I've written 3 books on branding. So
check them out.
If you have to check them out, and I hope to hear from you.
Great to hear from your voice there, Marc Rudov, branding expert extraordinaire. Thanks so much for your time, sir. Appreciate your expertise. Ladies and gentlemen.
You bet.
Oh, great. I love hearing just somebody cut through the noise and call a spade a spade. It's okay to say what he said because it's the truth.